Good day, everyone. This is Peter from iSharp Knives. Today I thought I'd do a little video on the different types of sharpeners that I've used over the years, uh, their function, their purpose, and just to give you an idea what's out there, and there's so much more out there than what I have. But yeah, let's get into it. So I want to start off with this beauty here, which is a honing rod. A lot of people mistake it for a sharpener, but it's actually more to maintain the edge of your knife rather than sharpen your knife. So the difference being, as you use your knife, the edge gets rounded a little bit. So there's a little piece of metal along the edge that kind of folds over a little bit, and you use this to clean that off and to renew the edge somewhat. So that's like a refresher. When you're actually sharpening or putting a new edge on a knife, that's what these tools are for. And of course, people are like, is that a belt sander? Yes, it's a belt sander. And we'll talk about what I use that for too. So one of the first sharpeners outside of my honing rod that I've ever used is an actual whetstone. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a stone with a coarse and fine grit. I don't know the actual grit count on these. I bought this at Canadian Tire for 15 bucks. And what you do is you basically put it in water, let it sit for about 15 minutes. You'll see bubbles coming up. When the bubbles stop, it's soaked enough. Then you would place it on an on-slip surface and run your blade across it to get a new edge on it. I have a throwaway knife. Let me get it and I'll demonstrate what I'm talking about. I thought I'd film this outside today. The weather's a little overcast, but nice and warm. So here's a bit to demonstrate. So once your stone is soaked properly, you can use something like this, which is an angle pyramid. It's got 4 different angles on it: 14, 17, 20, and 25 degrees. I know it's too far to really see from here, but I'll do another video on that. So basically what you do is you set your pyramid for the angle you want, set the blade against it, and then you would just run it along. And you do that side, then you do the other side, even counts on each side. Then you soak it in the water a little more, flip it over to the finer grit, set your angle, and do the same thing. So this is an actual whetstone. These here are plates that operate the same way as the whetstone, except you don't need to soak them. They're steel plates with a honeycomb pattern on them and a diamond grit as opposed to stone. And again, the angle pyramid, but this one is magnetic. The plates are steel, like I said, so you set it up, do it the same way. And you have a 400, 600, 1000, and 1200 grit. Before I continue on, let's talk about grit count and what that means for those that may not know. So anytime you have, if you're sharpening a knife or you need to sand a piece of wood, you buy some sandpaper, you'll see like 80 grit, 120 grit, etc. The lower the number, the more coarse the abrasive is. And the number signifies how many pieces of abrasive per square inch on the material. So if you have a piece of sandpaper that's 120 grit, it's 120 grit, 120 pieces of abrasive material per square inch on that sheet of paper. Same idea, 400 grit, so 400 pieces of abrasive material per square inch of the plate. So that's basically what that means. Now to continue on, so we've got the whetstone diamond plates, which operate the same as a whetstone, except you don't need to soak them. Then we have this one, which is an electric sharpener. I'm not plugging anything in to operate it. We'll do another video another time demonstrating the equipment. But this one here is one of the first sharpeners I bought. Relatively affordable. I mean, it's I bought it new for $80 3 or 4 years ago, and you have three areas for your knife. The first one is to put a new edge on. So if your knife is like super dull and you can't even get this to work, you would run the knife through here equal amount of times through each slot, and then to really refine it, you have a medium and fine grit. Again, I don't know what the numbers are. This one here has a rotating wheel, diamond grit. This has two stones that kind of work in this motion. So one side, the other side, and then one side, the other side. Which is a great tool for homeowners, people that aren't looking for a professional. They're looking to get a quick edge on their knife, but not like super professional. So this is a great tool for that. Chef's Choice. Chef's Choice 100. This one here I purchased in February, and this is another form of manual sharpener. And basically the way this one works is you clamp your knife here. Yeah, I'll show you quickly what it looks like when you do it. I think I did a video using this one already, but it doesn't hurt to show you again. So you want to clamp your knife in. And then you set up your sharpening stones. So this one has 3 different grits, a 320, and you can twist it, 600 and twist it again, and then you have a ceramic stone, which is like for polishing. It's almost like a strop, same idea. So you lock this in here, it's a magnetic holder, and then with this knob here, there's an angle guide, so you figure out the angle that you want to sharpen your knife at, 15, 20 degrees. Most kitchen knives are 15 to 20 degrees. I prefer 15, you get a much nicer sharpness to it. And then you just basically run the stone along the shaft, or along the blade, up and down the shaft. I know that sounds dirty, it's not meant to be. Anyway, and you keep going, equal number of strokes, flip it over, equal number of strokes, go to the next abrasive, same thing, and then to the ceramic to polish it up, and you're good to go. That's basically how that works. This is a nice, more professional tool. I like the issue with this one here. If you have a bolster or your handle's in the way, you can't get it right in to the edge. But with this one here, you can get it right to the edge, to the end. So that's really nice. The next one, which I bought more recently, with the knife sharpening business, you want something like this. It's electric, it's got a belt, it's got an angle guide, so you can go from 15 to 30 degrees. And the way this one would work is you would plug it in, and you can see here there's a rest for the knives. So you would set your angle, put the knife in, lean it against the angle guide, pull the trigger to activate the belt, slide it through, and so you want to stop with the end of the blade in the middle of the belt so you don't round the point. Let go of the trigger and repeat. Then you do this side and repeat, equal number of times on each side. And this, you can change the belts. I've got 80, 120, 240, 400, 1000, and 1200 grip belts. And then after you sharpen the knives, I like to strop them. So you have this leather strop, a rough side, smooth side. Set the strop up, pull it across, equal number of times, flip it across, equal number of times. Then flip the strop over, same thing. And finally, the belt sander. So what do you use the belt sander for? Well, what I use it for is when people bring me knives that need repair. So for instance, you have a knife like this and there's a big chunk missing out of the blade, and you want to renew the blade. You need something heavy duty because you have to take off a lot of material from the blade to get rid of that nick in the blade. So something like a belt sander speeds the process up. Run it for a minute or two and give the knife a break because you don't want to overheat the steel. Flip it over, same thing, back and forth until the nick is gone. And then you would put it on this to give it the proper angle for sharpening. So that's a brief video on different knife sharpening tools. And you know, sometime this week I'll do videos for each of them and show you in more detail how they work. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the appropriate spot. I hope you follow me, and I hope you like the video, and we'll talk soon.